Four Tamil asylum seekers have expressed their concerns from inside immigration detention about facing long-term indefinite custody. The men have been assessed as genuine refugees but had their visas knocked back after being declared security threats by ASIO. They're part of a group of 38 immigration detainees who are directly petitioning the United Nations today to be immediately released into the community. Karen Barlow reports.
These Tamil men say they left behind their lives, family and country in 2009 because they were harassed by both the Sri Lankan military and paramilitary forces.
We lived in constant fear. We wanted to escape and lead a normal life. That is why we've come here.
But after having their refugee claims upheld, the men were knocked back on security grounds.
ASIO claims that we're a threat to national security.
It's ASIO's policy not to communicate the reasons for an adverse security finding, so the men can only guess why.
For example, a murderer may be imprisoned for 10 years, but us, who have done nothing wrong, are here for an unknown period of time. No one is able to give us an answer.
The Immigration Department will not allow the media to record interviews inside detention centres. The interviews were conducted on Lateline's behalf with questions scripted by this program. These men say they're not Tamil tigers.
I have a common knowledge of the tigers, just like any other person in Sri Lanka.
In a civil war like that, everybody who lived in the north or east of Sri Lanka had some association with the Tamil tigers. The Tamil tigers was the government.
Professor Ben Saul is coordinating an appeal to the UN Human Rights Committee on behalf of 38 asylum seekers in indefinite detention. The case also affects 3 children. They can't go back home because they've already been assessed as genuine refugees.
Australia hasn't proposed any way forward for these guys. They're stuck in detention. They haven't been released into the community. There are all kinds of other ways Australia could deal with them, but Australia hasn't used any of those other legal options either.
The case to the UN states that immigration detention is unlawful because the reasons and evidence for an adverse security assessment have not been made available to the asylum seeker. It's further claimed that indefinite detention is unlawful because no Australian court can review it. In a statement, ASIO says it can't provide a reason for the adverse assessments because doing so would reveal ASIO's intelligence capability and methods. ASIO says rejected visa applicants are entitled to go to the Federal Court or the High Court to seek judicial review.
I mean, how do you challenge a case against you? How do you challenge your exclusion from a country like Australia if you have no idea what the allegations are against you?
Refugee advocates are concerned ASIO may be relying on the Sri Lankan government for information on Tamils. But ASIO says it draws on a variety of classified and unclassified information to assess visa applicants. And it says it's always taking into account the credibility of available information. Ben Saul questions how serious the evidence is against the asylum seekers.
If there's credible evidence that any of these clients has committed war crimes, then Australia should prosecute them. We've got extensive war crimes laws, crimes against humanity laws, which would cover any of the violence which happened in Sri Lanka.
With no immediate prospects for release, return or resettlement, the 38 say they're struggling in detention.
We're all like dead men walking. We've been eyewitnesses to so many incidents and are aware these things could happen to us as well. We're controlling ourselves. We're in mental agony, mental torture.
The Immigration Department says every case is different and complex and may take what it calls some considerable time to resolve, and that the 38 will remain in detention until options become available to resolve their case. Australia may respond to the UN committee, but it doesn't have to comply even if the case is successful. Karen Barlow, Lateline.